Thank you very much. I think I've mentioned this before. It could be possible that some students were beaten, but what I've seen on the ground where I was at, I did not see any being beaten at that place. So you ask whether at the basketball pitch, whether some students were beaten also. I said, yes, it could happen during my absence because after that operation, immediately after that operation, stopped treatment to the student. And I've also, seconded him in by making a statement also to an advice to the students. Then shortly after that, after breakfast, I was asked to go to Bansang, where the students were also on the move to demonstrate. So this was where I left them. So in my absence at the basketball pitch, whether people were beaten there or not, and at the girls' dormitory where they were finally being placed at, whether they were beaten there or not, I can't, testify that. But what I can say, the operations was conducted in my presence at Amtich High School. And I also stated that where I was standing at the pitch after calling these students from their dormitories to the basketball pitch, where I finally stood at that distance, when you stand there facing towards the central cookhouse, beyond that there is a line of trees, a bush, so nobody can see. If anybody is caught within that area and been beaten at that end, you can never know. That's what I've said. So let me now explain what happened at Bansan.
Before you do that, you are saying emphatically that you had no knowledge of any student having been beaten at
In my presence, no.
Listen to the question. You have no knowledge of any student having been beaten or tortured at Amite?
Knowledge, of course, I've had, because I came to know during this commission of inquiries that people were tortured at Amtich.
During that time, in April 2000, of any such torture having taken place at Amite?
In my presence, no.
Not saying in your presence. Question is whether you had knowledge that these beatings and tortures were happening at Amite. It's different from being present when it happened. You have knowledge.
Yeah, it's possible that it has happened.
Mr. Camara, you cannot have it both ways. You either had knowledge or you did not have knowledge. Which is which?
Can you explain that statement properly so that I can understand?
Well, I think it was proper enough, but I'll explain it again. Did you know that students were being arrested and beaten at Armitage High on April 11?
On April 11, 2000, during the operations, in my presence.
I am not saying in your presence. The question is, did you know that students were being arrested and beaten?
Yeah, it could be possible that they were beaten, during the operations, because, like I said, I did not deny the fact of students being beaten. If
Camara,
it had happened.
Mr. Camara,
yes,
you are asking yourself your own questions and answering them, but you are not answering my questions. And it is important that you listen carefully. My question is, Did you know that students were being arrested and beaten at Armitage High School during that operation?
Not to my knowledge.
You did not have knowledge, you did not see it, you were not present.
I was present, but I did not see a student being arrested and beaten in my presence. It could be, you know.
And you had no knowledge of it. You did not hear it, nobody complained to you, nobody informed you. In Armitage, no. Okay, we will move on. Just remember.
On the 11th, no.
Just remember that this is an ongoing investigation. If we excuse me, if we receive further evidence showing that you in fact had knowledge of this, it would mean that you are lying before the commission to cover up the fact that these violations happened.
Yes, if it had happened in that way, but I'm trying to put across facts which happened in my presence on the 11th of April 2000 student demo. Because what happened is that I said the operations which had taken place at Armitage grounds happened in my presence. So, but I cannot be everywhere, within the campus.
I accept you cannot be everywhere within the campus. Mm-hmm. And that is why I limited the questioning to two important elements. One is whether you saw it happen.
I did not.
You did not. The other is whether you had any knowledge of it happening. You also deny that.
Yes.
So this is your final chance. You deny knowledge, you deny seeing it.
On the 11th, yes.
How about any other day?
Subsequently, students were complaining that they were being beaten. So we advised those in charge not to beat anybody if it had happened.
Can you explain that?
I say subsequently, after the operation itself, which was on the 11th, there are a group of soldiers who were left in there to be in charge of students who are kept at the gas dormitory.
And those group of soldiers, under whose authority were they?
Under the authority of the CO. But under the immediate authority of, I think he was a Staff Sergeant Jata.
Proceed.
Yes.
Proceed.
And then the instructions given to them was that if at all they were torturing them, let them stop beating them. Those who were kept at the gas dormitory.
Why would that information come to you?
Because periodically we visit and know what is happening there to the students.
Did you go on such visits?
Yes.
When did you go on such visits?
After the operations at Kuntaur, because it was like this. I was at Janjambure. I went to Janjambure on the 10th, spent the night there on the 11th. After that operations, I was tasked to go to Bansang. I went to Bansang. I think I spent there almost some hours there before I was informed by the CID officer. From there, I came to Brikamaba. I think Brikamaba I spent 2 to 3 nights, probably. From there, I proceeded to Kudang. Kudang, the base, we were also informed that the students at Kuntaur were also on the move to demonstrate. So we proceeded to Kuntaur and spent some nights there. Then came back to Kudang, to the camp. So when I came back...
Which day was this?
Around the 16, 17, we are back to Kudang, something like that. It should be like that. So after that period, I used to go on a periodical visits. I think every 2 days or so, I'll go and find out what is happening to these, areas. That is, we may start at times at, Kuntarwasu, that is going via to Kudang. At the riverside, we cross to Kuntarwasu, coming to Janyambre, to Bansang, then Brikamba to Kudang.
So you're suggesting that it was during these visits that some students complained that they were being beaten?
Yes.
And you knew about this complaint?
Yes.
And did they say who was beating them?
I presumed that the officer in charge.
Did they say?
They say soldiers.
Good. And you know that it was a violation of their rights?
Yes, that's quite right.
In fact, it was criminal. It was a crime under the laws of this country to beat detainees.
That's correct.
It's a court-martialable offense, isn't it?
Is it a court-martial offense? A treasonable offense?
No, not treasonable. Court-martialable.
Yeah, it's court-martialable. It's a court-martial offense.
Were those soldiers investigated?
No.
Were they charged?
No.
And that also is an abdication of responsibility, isn't it?
No.
It's not? The fact that you know that these soldiers, these men committed offenses for which they should be prosecuted, and the fact that that was ignored is not an abdication of responsibility?
No, it's not because if you see from the very beginning, like I said, when...
Let's not go into too many theories. Just answer the question. Is it a yes? It's a yes or no answer.
No, I'm not trying to run away from that responsibility.
Is it not an abdication of responsibility that these people were not investigated or prosecuted? These soldiers.
What is, an abdication of responsibility? Can you,
Is it not a failure of responsibility?
No. Why? Why am I saying no? Simply because when that complaint was brought to my notice, immediately I've addressed those in charge that don't beat them.
And how did you address that?
No, I addressed it. I told the officer, the personnel in charge of that, security, to stop beating, the students under their custody.
So in fact, you have prevented it happening again, correct?
If it had happened before. Yes.
Yes. So you have addressed future conduct, correct?
Yes.
So my focus is the past conduct, what they have already done, that crime they have already committed.
Yes.
Did you investigate it?
No, it wasn't.
Did you prosecute it?
No, it
wasn't that supposed to happen?
It's supposed not to happen.
No. What I'm asking is, here you are a superior officer to those soldiers who were there. You have been informed that those soldiers have committed crimes. Isn't it to be expected that those crimes are to be investigated and prosecuted?
Yes.
Was that done?
No.
That is a failure of responsibility, isn't it?
No.
Okay, thank you. We will move on.
The
commission will make up its mind.
Sorry, let me just please, clarify that. Why am I saying that it's not a failure of responsibility?
We have gone around this block. You have explained this, that yes, you stopped them. You said it should not happen again.
Yes.
All right, proceed then.
Yes. I think I've made that point clear. I've said to that
since you made it clear,
that command and control, is vested upon the leadership that are overseeing everything on the ground. So if there is any problem, it is not the subordinate officers that are going to be called upon for questioning. It's going to be the officers who are responsible for that operations. And this was exactly what had happened. It was as if I was seeing what was coming to happen in the future. We were called upon the Commission of Inquiries. We were called upon there. Coroner's inquest also we are called upon there. So the issue of these soldiers being investigated, yes, we take daily occurrence of events which are happening on the ground. We forward that instructions, that we forward them to our commanding officers. Our commanding officers are the ones that will make decisions on that. I visit areas, I collect informations, and I pass that information to my superiors for further directives.
And how do you do that? How do you pass this information?
I called the CEO to tell him that this was what I was informed about.
Did you submit any reports?
No, not at that time.
All right, thank you very much. So we would move on. The commission would look at that and see what to make of it.
Thank you.
All right? Okay. So you left Janjambure sometime in the morning. At around what time?
This should be between 8, 9 towards 10, I think.
8, 9 towards 10.
Yeah.
So we have a 3-hour window.
Between 8 and 10, one can say.
A 3-hour window.
Yeah.
Pretty much. All right. During this period, where did you go?
I went to Bansa. I first went to the police station. On my way going to Bansa, around the school, the secondary school, the senior secondary school, I saw tree trunks being placed across the roads. I've seen stones being placed alongside the roads. But, while we were going in to Bansang, then the students were also leaving the school, coming into the streets. So we realized that the information given to us that the students were planning to demonstrate has now been actualized. But I moved straight to the police station. When I went to the police station, I asked, the location of the Gamtel antenna, which is meant for the TV coverage. So I was being led to that place. I placed 2 or 3 by sentries to secure that antenna. So I came down. I went back to the police station. When I went back to the police station, we start patrolling the route to clear the students and talk to them. That let them go back to the homes and then help their parents. That demonstration or vandalizing public properties are not things which are good. That it is better as Gambians we sit and solve these problems amicably than creating problems. I've made such statements along the route going on patrols. So from there we made a turn again back towards the police station. I could remember a police officer beating a student. So I stopped him and said, "Why should you do this? If this guy is your brother or sister, will you do that to him or her?" I stopped that. Then from there we proceeded to the police station. When I reached at the police station, I found Lieutenant Balde from Basse military post with some troops. Then I told him that, Charlie, we used to call each other Charlie because we, those who were trained at Ghana, normally we call each other Charlie. So I told him that, Charlie, why are you here? He said, no, I've come to see how best I can reinforce you. I said, no, but this is my AOR, area of responsibility. He says, okay, I've come to reinforce you. I say, in as much as you are here, then it's better for me to go to Janjambure. So after talking with him, I decided to go and do maybe a little bit of patrols within, Bansang. Then I was met by first class CID officer Dabo from Brikama police station. He told me that already there was a casualty at Brikama police station, that a student was killed. I said, what had happened? How has that happened? He said he can't tell, but somebody was killed. I said, why? he further went on to say that there are some elders with, these shotguns, local hunting weapons. I said, okay. So, but do you know where the fire comes from that hit this, this student if he was killed by bullets? He said he can't tell at the moment. He said, but he badly need my assistance at Brikama then. So I tried to contact the CEO who was left at Janjambure then, but couldn't because already I think the Gamtel cables for communications was down at Janjambure. So I couldn't get him. I used my initiative this time that if a life was lost in Brikamba, it's better let me go there and see how best I can, quell down the situations there. Then before going to Brikamba, I went straight to the hill to retrieve my persons who were posted there. I took them off from that area and then left Balde there. So I proceeded to Brikama. Just to cut the loss of short.
And what time did you leave Bansang?
Bansang, I think it's between 11, 12. I can't say exactly.
Before you left Bansang, did you notice anything else, anything serious that happened there? Anything?
Yeah.
Apart from that single beating?
Beating, yes. I saw people being arrested, brought to the station. I've seen that happen.
Did your soldiers arrest anybody?
No.
Did your soldiers beat anybody?
No.
All right, proceed, please.
That was
now you went to Birkamaba.
My soldiers, I left with my soldiers to get those guys from the uphill, the outstation there, to proceed to Birkamaba. So we went to Brikama. Upon arrival, I first stopped at the police station. From a distance, on the highway, looking towards the end of, towards Kudang. That place was all full of stones everywhere. Tires been burnt, along the highway or on the highway, and then barriers been put across. So I've seen that happen, but I spoke to the station officer with some, military personnel who were there. Because I came to realize that while CEO Keita was going to join me at Janjambure, he dropped 5 by military personnel at Kudang. These 5 by military personnel were used to reinforce those police officers at Brikama. So when I came in there, I found those, officers there, soldiers there rather. I think Corporal Camara was one of them with Njai, commonly known as Gray. He was also there with 3 other personnel. So when I spoke with the station officer, the information was that elders were among those students who were demonstrating, and they came up to the police station stoning, and it was said that they were with shotguns. I left that place. I went straight to the Alkali's compound. I believe I went to the Alkali. I spoke with him. I told him that it's better for him to come out and then talk to the elders, talk to people in the streets, let them stop what they are doing and go back to their compounds. There, we shouldn't have any problems. The Gambia is too small for that. If there is any problem that they have, if there is any problem that is affecting them, it is better they go to the authorities and see how best that can be resolved peacefully and amicably. This was what was the message that I've given him to do. So whether he has come to, because when I've said that to him, I just left like that with the soldiers that I was moving with to come to the highway again. So when I went to the highway, I walked like that. I was patrolling up to where there is a route at Brikamaba. The bus used to stop there when it is coming towards the combos. And this route here at Brikamaba is the one that links to the backway to Sapo. This was the route that was used by Lieutenant Balde with his troops again. He joined me at Brikamaba. So, I asked him, why are you here? He said, he has come to reinforce me. He said, in fact, I was trailing you, but you did not observe, and you don't know that I was trailing. I said, I did not see you coming. Well, he said, his vehicle was behind, following. So, people were arrested, because we believe that if people are left in the street like that, it's going to create aggravate the situations. So it's better let them be arrested and then be placed at the station, and we see a peaceful solution to the issue. But along the line,
you said people were arrested.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us that I arrested people? You arrested people instead of people were arrested.
Yes. The reason why I did not say I arrested, because I personally did not arrest.
You ordered the arrest of people?
No.
Okay. How did the people come to be arrested?
Yes. The soldiers, Balde and his team were there. Myself with the team from Kudang were there, and those who were dropped last night before that, 11th April, were also there. There's a team of Farafenye, a team of Basse, and a team of Kudang were all in there. So people were brought into the to the police station. I've seen instances.
You did not arrest people?
I personally did not arrest, but soldiers arrested.
Your soldiers did not arrest anybody?
They have arrested.
Do you mean they did it under their own volition?
No, we said anybody who is on that highway should be brought to the police station.
Who is we?
Okay, say I have ordered for the arrest, and Balde has ordered for the arrest.
Well, thank you for that concession. Yes. Even in your statement, you said, I went back to the street and arrested those who were found demonstrating on the streets and took them to the station.
Yes, we have ordered for that. And then when we have ordered, they came to the police station, and then I've seen torture be inflicted on civilians, and I stopped that happening.
That's not according to the statement that I read out to you.
Yes.
They did not suggest that you stopped any beating.
They did not?
Suggest that you intervened to stop any beating by the soldiers.
Yes, they will not know, because they will not know what was happening on the ground then.
So, but they saw that the soldiers were torturing civilians.
Yes.
But they would not see how you stopped it.
Yes.
You stopped it in secret?
To their knowledge.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
How would that happen?
Yes, I called upon Lieutenant Balde, Sama Balde then, who was in charge of...
where is he now?
He's in USA.
Okay.
Who was in charge of Basse. I told him to leave with his people. Yeah.
And that is how you stopped the torture?
Yes. I said he has to live with his people from Kudang, because from Brikamaba, because anything that happened in Brikamaba was just nearer to Kudang. So anything that had happened there, it will be said that soldiers from Kudang did it. And
so you're telling us you were able to stop the torture by telling Lieutenant Sambaba to move with his troops?
Yes.
And that is what stopped the torture?
Yes.
How did it stop the torture?
People are no longer subjected to torture.
So you're suggesting, therefore, it was Sambaba's men who were doing the torture and not your men?
Yes. Quite right.
Sambaba could be hearing you?
Yes. He's my friend, he's a brother, he's everything to me.
So his men were doing the torture, but your men were not involved?
I told you from the very beginning that I have given clear instructions to my people that nobody should beat anybody, nobody should slap anybody, nobody should fire at anybody before we left. And then I've stated that Samaba Samaba is a friend of mine. We all grew up together as young officers.
We don't have to go through that.
I'm coming, sir.
Okay.
We were all cadet officers together. We were all second lieutenants together, lieutenants together. So this event that I'm talking about happened when we were all lieutenants. So you understand? There is no point.
I just do not see the relevance, but
there is no point where I will come here to lie against him. I don't see that.
Okay,
yes.
Fair enough. Look, we're just taking your version.
Yes.
All right? And other versions may emerge.
Yes.
And then we take it from there and let the consequences fall where they may.
That's it.
You know, the important thing here is you now have the chance to speak your own truth. And your own truth would be examined against the truths of other people.
That's all.
And that is why I advise you that it is important that you be truthful, because there can be only one truth at the end of the day. And the commission is really capable of arriving at the truth. Right?
Sorry.
So, as far as you are concerned, it was always the troop of all the soldiers under the command of other officers who were doing the beating, but not your soldiers.
To my knowledge.
Okay, fine.
Not to my soul.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Because I've given them clear-cut instructions.
Okay. When you saw people being tortured, civilians being tortured at Bir Kamaba, did you ensure that those soldiers who were involved were cited for the offenses they committed and prosecuted?
No.
Isn't that a failure?
To me, it is not.
Isn't that a negligent? Well, let me rephrase it. Right? Isn't that a dereliction of duty?
No.
Okay. All right. The commission would make up its mind on that.
Because, like I said, in fact, this was what I've stated to Samaba on that day, that look, we are here to quail down the situations, but not to intensify it. So it's better you and your people leave. I give you only 2 minutes to leave. If you don't, I'll leave this place, because anything that happened here, tomorrow, it is me who's going to be questioned for, not you. So it's better you leave here. And then operational-wise, I advise that if a head of a compound, that a compound, head, so slap somebody, what do you expect from his, son or daughters in the compound? They'll jump out to that person and kill him. So I said, look, I've given you only 2 minutes to leave this place. If you don't, I will vacate this place. Because anything that comes out of it tomorrow, it will be my show. So, and I don't want to take up that responsibility.
Essentially, you are thinking of what would happen in the future.
Exactly.
And you wanted to make sure that you are clear of all legal responsibility for the violations that happened.
Simply because I know what is meant to be an officer, and then, an officer who has undergone such trainings.
And apart from Samba Ba, you are the most senior military officer present at Birkamaba.
Quite right.
And therefore, you would have responsibility over all the soldiers who were there.
Quite right.
And you know very well that somebody was killed in Birkamaba. In fact, not just one person, but 3 people were killed in Birkamaba.
Okay, I think I made that one clear. 3 people were killed at Birkamaba.
Yes.
I don't know about that.
But
I only knew about 1 being killed.
Okay.
Sorry.
Let me continue with my questioning. When you arrived at Birkamaba, you knew that at least 1 person was killed. How about injured by gunshot?
No.
You did not know. Did you bother to inquire what happened and how that person got killed?
The initial information given to me by that CID officer Dabo, I asked.
That was in Bansa?
Bansa. I asked,
okay.
how was this guy killed.
When you arrived at
So when I arrived also, I found Mamanding as the station officer. I asked, how was that student killed? But he did not tell me anything that was definitive. He said that there are, youths and elders with shotguns in Brikamaba, locals, who were advancing towards their station. But he couldn't tell exactly where the rounds came from. So to me, well and good. The investigation, the police would have, conducted that investigation to find out who had shot that, said person, and then come out with findings with regards to that investigation.
But apart from that, would be in discharge of the responsibility of the police, isn't it?
Yes.
How about in discharge of your own responsibility as superior officer on the ground?
I informed the CEO that there was a casualty at Brikamaba.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, 100% so.
Did you investigate, did you inquire from the troops that were on the ground as to whether any one of them fired at the demonstrators?
As at then, no.
Isn't that a failing?
No, as at then, no. What I mean as at then, the time I was speaking to the station officer rather, Mamanding. Then I did not inquire about that. My focus was bent on how best can I peacefully quell down the situation. That's why
up to the time you left Birkamaba, did you make any inquiry from the soldiers that were on the ground as to who fired a shot?
Yes, I did that.
And then what was your result?
The response was that they did not fire any shot.
Are you sure you did?
Yes.
Who did you ask?
I asked the corporal in charge, Camara. He said he couldn't identify that somebody has fired from his own people. I asked Greg about it, Gray Njai. He said he did not also fire. So I think they were, accusing...
Mr. Camara.
Yes.
Be careful here. The truth shall set you free. Be careful here. Did you speak to Mr. Njai and ask him whether he fired at the demonstrators?
Yes, I did.
And what was his response?
He said he did not fire.
Good. Did you ask Mr. Camara, Corporal Camara, whether he fired at the victims?
Yes, I did.
And what was his answer?
He said he did not.
But there was a simple test. In the military, how do you call it? To know whether they have fired their weapons. Did you make that test?
No, that's the NSP to check the drills whether a round has been fired or not, or whether the magazines or the rounds that were given to soldiers were intact or not. At that moment, I did not.
Wouldn't that have been at least a basic test to determine whether they were lying or not?
Yes, that could have been.
But you did not?
I did not.
So that was a lost opportunity, isn't it?
Yes.
And don't you think it is something that you should have done under the circumstances?
No.
Or you should not have done it?
I should have done that.
You should have done that.
Yes.
So you accept that that is a failure on your part?
Exactly.
And with regards to casualties, I have a report from the military. It does not show any casualty at all. At all.
At Brikamaba?
At Brikamaba or anywhere in your area of operation?
Anywhere. For me, the information that I've received was that there was a casualty. In fact, before my coming to Brikamaba.
Okay. I'll share this report with you. Mr. Chair, this is Exhibit 83. The report from Captain Keita, submitted to the Army, which was submitted to the Commission of Inquiry. And I refer you to page 223. The section, the paragraph entitled Conclusion. Read it out to the Commission, please.
Council, while he's doing that, can you clarify, is the report 83, the exhibit is in that report as in the previous one?
This is exhibit 83, that
Yes.
is the document we're looking at.
And what is
but
it?
within that exhibit, I think this should be exhibit 20 or part of exhibit 19. I have to verify that.
Splendid.
But in any case, it is page 223 of exhibit 83. To page 223 of the report.
Fine, that's clear. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
You mean the conclusion?
Yes. Before you read the conclusion, could you confirm that this is a report from Captain Keita? Read out the title of the document.
Headquarters Gine, report on the deployment of 2 battalion troops in the provinces during the student demonstration.
Good. The 2 battalion would be 2nd battalion, wouldn't it?
That is 2 infantry battalion, 2nd infantry battalion.
Okay, good. Could you go to the next page? And maybe the next page. Did you see the signature?
Yeah, I've seen the signature.
And whose signature did it say it is?
It's bearing the name of B. Keita, Captain Keita, CO.
And that would be the Captain Keita who authorized you to deploy, right?
Yes.
Good. Look at the conclusion part. Could you read it out, please?
After the withdrawal, 1 week later, a check on the first line armor of soldiers from the battalion headquarters who participated in the operations was conducted and all confirmed to be intact. Blank ammunition was used to disperse demonstrators in Farafenye, Brikama and Brikama. Alpha Company, that is Kudang, set in their ammunition returns and everything was intact. However, Charlie Company Basse reported firing 12 by rounds of 7.62 millimeter as warning shots when angry demonstrators tried to overrun the GRTS radio station in Basse. At the end of the operations, arms and ammunition returns was sent to my parent unit, that is Hekorachene.
You would accept that that report is false, isn't it? That conclusion is false. Maybe you have not noticed the falsehood.
No.
Okay, let's come to them one by one.
Yes,
okay. The report does not mention casualties, did it?
No, the conclusion did not. The conclusion so far, what you have read here, did not mention about that.
Wasn't that a material fact to report?
Which, the casualty?
Yes.
Yeah, it should be.
It should have been.
Yes,
So
it should
that
have
is
been.
a material omission in the report. It
Well,
is a
I-
significant omission in the report.
Sorry, I did not read, other portion of the report. I only read the conclusion. But in the conclusion,
You can take my word for it,
Yeah,
that
it is not.
nothing is mentioned about casualties.
yes, so far what I've read, nothing is mentioned about that.
And in fact, it's in fact on the return of the ammunition that is reported, that is also false.
Where? Which area? Which level?
There is no mention of the group that was deployed under Captain Keita. Look at it. They mentioned your group. They mentioned the group from Basse.
Yes.
There is no mention of the group that was led by Captain Keita.
Yes, that was omitted.
There was also no mention of the group that was dropped by Captain Keita in Brikamaba.
Quite right.
Their ammunition was not accounted for.
Quite right.
That report seems to suggest that nobody was fired at by the GNA soldiers. And that is totally false.
Yes, by virtue of that, it is. If at all, the firing was done by the GNA personnel. Because at Brikama, 5 people were there. So
Let me read out to you something here.
Okay.
This is from a GNA soldier. He says, at this juncture, my blank rounds were exhausted. I detached and attached the magazine which contained live rounds. I continued to shoot in the air to scare them away, but they showed no sign of going back, and I shot at them. Isn't that an admission by a soldier that he was firing at the victims?
Yeah, admissible statement. If he has stated that in his statement, is admissible. That he has, confirmed firing at the students who were constantly moving towards the
Wouldn't a force-line armor check have revealed this fact?
Of course, it should have done that.
Did the report show that a force-line armor check was done with regards to the 5 people who were deployed? At least with regards to this one person?
No, it did not include that.
In fact, there was a blatant cover-up of what has happened.
You can say that again.
Thank you very much. I'll move on. I will move on. When you returned to Kudang, did you submit a report to headquarters about your operations?
No. What happened is that when we return, you mean at the end of all the operations?
Yes.
No.
Why didn't you?
We give daily situation reports to headquarters.
And how is that daily sit rep done?
The daily sit rep is done through signal messages.
And would they be written or oral?
Written, signal messages are passed verbally because the messages goes on through the communication set to headquarters.
So
it's written at unit level or sub-unit level, but it's sent through, communication sets to, headquarters level.
In your sit rep of 11 April let me rephrase the question. At Birkamaba, did you send a sit rep indicating that there was casualty?
I can't fully remember that, but I remember talking to the CEO, telling him that there was a casualty at Birkamaba, even the time before, I think 2 or 3 days after, 2 or 3 days after my being at Birkamaba.
Mr. Witness.
Because what happened is that, my handheld radio couldn't reach the CEO at Janyambure. So because my handheld radio cannot reach CEO at Janyambure, I couldn't report to him directly what had happened at Birkamaba the time I was at Birkamaba.
All right. Mr. Witness, you would accept that 2 important things emerge, or rather 3 important things emerge out of your testimony. The first is that no operational orders were submitted to you.
That's true.
The second is students were arrested and other civilians were arrested and tortured during this operation.
That's correct.
The third is that the report that was submitted by the army contained some important falsehoods.
Correct. By virtue of this document which has been served here to me as a report from the Gambia Armed Forces, or from the headquarters GNA, then the Gambia National Army.
Thank you very much. I would not have any further questions for you on this particular subject, but like I have promised at the beginning, we would call you at a later stage to talk about things that happened to you, your own arrest and detention and torture in 2006. And you see, the importance of all this is to show that torture has no place in administration or in the way we live as a people. Because you witnessed people being tortured, you subsequently suffered torture yourself. But this is something that we would have to deal with as we progress in these investigations. So I will ask the Commission not to give you the opportunity to address the Commission at this stage, because we're running out of time, and you would have to come again. So you would save your address until you were called again, but in the meantime, you can think about it, the two issues of how the students were dealt with and how you were also treated by the same institution, the soldiers of the Gambia National Army. So, Mr. Chair, I hand over the witness for further questioning, if there are any.
Yeah, so your suggestion is no concluding remarks?
No concluding remarks from him at this stage.
Yeah.
But we give him a rendezvous for when we hold the institutional hearing on the NIA.
Oui, d'accord.
Thank you very
fine.
much.
Thank you
very
that's
much,
okay.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioners, you have any questions? Commissioner Kinte, you have the floor, please.
Major Camara,
Yes.
on arrival at Brikama Bar, you were told, of course, you were told one person was shot dead. But there were other people who were shot, either dead, not yet dead, or whatever. Did you make any spot check to see, like visiting the health center or seeing around the police, those who were shot, what were their conditions, and the one who was confirmed dead, where the whereabouts and whatever? Did you make any thorough check to confirm the state of affairs at the time of arrival? Because that was one thing very important.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. Like I said before, I think operationally I was inclined in seeing how best I can pacify the situation then. Yes, I should have, go further to find where was the place, the position of the casualty, where he was then, but I did not do that. For the other two that you are saying were shot or have sustained some injuries that time, I did not know about that. Subsequently came to realize that two other people were killed. I was only in the picture of one person that was killed. Yes.
You knew one person was killed?
Before I came to Brikama, yes. I was informed about that. In fact, that has prompted my coming to Brikama.
You said you were also told that some local communities, individuals, had shotguns, local guns.
That was the information I received
Did
at
you
Bansam,
see
I did not
it?
see any on the ground.
Now, if you haven't seen that, in the meantime, you should have concluded that no one was armed by the fact we have seen on the ground.
I can't, because what I did, I cannot say that they were not armed.
When they said,
Sorry,
when they said they did not shoot.
Sorry, sir.
Okay.
You see, they can be armed in my absence.
Okay.
And the time of my arrival there, they can, hide their weapons. Nobody knows. It's only Allah. And they should be able to stand and then affirm that, confirm that happened. But what I've seen, myself, what I've seen on the ground was this: when I came to Brikama Bar, I first went to the police station. From there, I went to the Alkali. Because I was, more inclined to seeing how best we can pacify the situation then. Yes, so that's the approach I've taken. I went to the Alkali. Alkali, please come and talk to your people. I guess he being the village Alkali, the people within that village will be able to listen to him and then respect his words. That's the reason why I went in there to talk to him. So the fact of visiting health centers to confirm, I did not do that. That was a shortfall, sort of.
And you did not see local guns as well?
I did not see that on the ground.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Commissioner Jones, you have the floor.
Thank you, Major Camara. You said you left from Kudang to Janjambur with about 15 men who each had about 120 live bullets, right? Did you do an inventory at the end of the operation to find out how many of those were actually released and how many were not?
See?
Did you take an inventory at the end of your operations to ascertain how many live bullets were used and how many weren't?
Yes, when we came back to Kudang, I paraded the men to check in their weapons. They all cleared their weapons. We confirmed there is no round in the chamber. That was done, the e-spring. And then we confirmed the number of rounds also in their individual magazines. So all which were issued to them were intact at the end of the operations.
May I clarify that for Commissioner Jones? My question about force line armor check is precisely on that. That is, perhaps I should have explained it. It's the technical term that I used. But the fact of the matter is, at Birkamaba, he did not do it for those 5 soldiers he found there. So if that was done, it would have been discovered that some live rounds were missing, but they did not do that. And in addition, the report suggested that it was done for Kudang and Basse, all right, and everything was intact. But the report did not say anything about the 5 who were dropped by Captain Keita. And that is where the problem lies, and that is where the report is false. Thank you.
So I've confirmed that of mine when we returned to the base, Kudang, that their arms and ammunition were intact as per issued to them before the operations.
Thanks for providing further clarity, Council. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any further questions? If not, we will take a lunch break and come back at 2:30. 2:30, we return here. Thank you very much, Major Camara, for your testimony. And also, oh, sorry, who is it? Oh, sorry, yeah. Thank you very much. Meeting is adjourned. We come back at 2:30.
Mr. Chair, it's 1 o'clock. Maybe we should start a new witness until 1:30. Then,
are you ready for that? Oh, yes. My pleasure. Absolutely.
Thank you. Because otherwise we may...
We see him again. So
thank you. All we need would be 5 minutes to organize, and then...
Fine. Then we can
you.
continue even during lunch break. It will be great for me.
It's getting interesting, isn't it?
Thank you very much. But Camara would have to go eat.
Mr. Chair, discharge the witness.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Witness, thank you so much, Mr. Major Camara Cisse. Back here.
You are now Camara.
Not at all. Thank you
very much.
Thank you. We will resume in about 5 minutes.